So whether you're the one who ended things or were blindsided, breakups hurt. But what makes them even harder is the roller coaster of emotions that come after. One day you're angry, the next day you're heartbroken, and then suddenly you think you've moved on only to feel everything come crashing back. In this video, I'm going to walk you through each stage of a breakup, because yes, there are stages, and explain what you can expect in each one, and how to transition from each stage as fast as possible so you can finally start feeling like yourself again. Just remember that this arrangement of stages, it isn't a perfect representation of what everyone goes through after a breakup. Like some people, they start in later stages instead of the first. Others skip certain stages, and some may even revert back to previous stages. And I just want you to know all of this shit is perfectly normal. So think about the following stages as this simplified model of a very complex, convoluted process that helps you better navigate a breakup. So let's dive right in, starting with stage number 1, shock, disbelief, and denial. Now this stage serves as your mind's initial defense mechanism to the sudden change, cushioning the emotional impact of a breakup. And during this stage, you may find it really hard to accept what has happened. You might feel numb, or you might struggle to believe that your relationship really has ended. And it's also common to question the reality of the situation in this stage. Now, as for how to combat it, don't suppress your shock, your disbelief, your denial, all of these things, right? Specifically not with just bad forms of suppressions like a lot of drugs, a lot of sex, video game binging, right? Shopping sprees, or any other like unhealthy coping mechanism like that. Because this only leads to further trauma and further misery, and you're gonna resent yourself for it eventually. Instead, I want you to focus on acknowledging and simply accepting your loss. Believe me, it's a much healthier way to deal with this breakup stage and to just deal with the emotional aftermath of a breakup in general. And if you just cannot do it alone, if you're struggling, please hire a professional. And I don't mean a fucking breakup coach, author, whatever you want to call me, or anyone in my sphere. I'm talking about hiring a therapist or like a professional mental health advisor or someone like that. Anyhow, breakup stage number 2, it's all about rumination. Now this stage is, as the name implies, characterized by intense, obsessive thoughts, intense reflection and contemplation, essentially rumination about the details of your past relationship, and you may find yourself caught in this repetitive loop of repetitive thoughts, analyzing everything what went wrong, re-examining past conversations, and questioning your own actions and decisions that you've made leading up to the breakup. And while this stage will help you process the breakup pain and help you learn from your mistakes, because you'll be ruminating on like what you did wrong, and that's in some way good because you are growing from your breakup while you do that, it is mentally exhausting. So to get through this stage in like the easiest way possible, at least let me retract that, in the smoothest, fastest way possible, because just getting through breakups isn't easy. You should probably lean on meditation, on yoga, on journaling. And you could also distract yourself with healthy stuff like going to the gym, taking a stroll, cooking a meal, or spending time with friends whenever you feel your obsessive thoughts are just eating you up. Now let's move on to breakup stage number 3, disorganization and confusion. Now in this stage, you will experience extreme emotional and mental shifts that can make you feel like you are losing your mind, literally. You'll have essentially days where you oversleep, you'll have days where you can't sleep at all, you'll have times when you lose your appetite, and then you'll have times when you just overeat. Your productivity levels and motivation will also fluctuate. Like sometimes you're gonna feel really lethargic, sometimes you're going to be hyper-focused, some days you're gonna be extremely positive, and other days you're gonna be like this bitter, cynical, whiny-ass baby. So when dealing with this stage, I always suggest to people just starting with some basic cognitive behavioral therapy exercises, like in this case, writing down your thoughts. It's called just free-form writing. So take out a sheet of paper and start writing about your issues, your emotional issues, in any way you like. And once you have them on paper, in theory, and usually also in practice, you'll be able to process all of that guck, all of those emotions that spilled out on the paper more easily. And therefore, you should feel much better after you do this, especially if you actually spend at least 15-20 minutes writing out your thoughts. And if you actually repeat this multiple times, let's say throughout the week. It's also really great if you focus on creating new habits. So habits like to-do lists, using calendars, setting reminders, because all of these habits, they will help you reclaim your focus, your motivation, at least in the crucial areas like, I don't know, work or school, right? So breakup stage number 4, that's where we are headed to next. It's the emotional mess stage. Probably the most intense breakup stage. So in this one, you're gonna experience, again, as the title implies, a flood of emotions, specifically devastation, anger, sadness, guilt, and anxiety. And you may feel as a result very fragile, frustrated, irritable, powerless, lonely, even isolated. And you might also struggle because of all of these feelings with self-blame, with regret, or even dumper's remorse if you were the one who initiated the breakup. And then, of course, there's even more physical problems that occur after this, like restlessness, insomnia, increased general heart rate, like all of these are also very common. Now, although you can't control your emotions, what you could be doing in this case to overcome this stage, you could try to respond to your emotions better. So basically what I'm saying is let yourself feel whatever you're feeling, just respond in healthy ways, so ways that lead to positive outcomes instead of negative ones. So for example, when you're pissed off, instead of lashing out or kicking your dog in the face, go and call up a good friend and have a chat. Go and watch your favorite TV show for 20 minutes. Go and call your therapist, message your therapist, or I don't know, tell your parent or some other relative close to you if you can come over to just vent. Like, it's that simple. Just instead of doing A, which is unhealthy and leads to negative consequences, do something that is the opposite. So B, that leads to positive consequences, that's healthy. And it really helps if you actually make a plan to respond, like plan ahead of time, so before your emotions actually bubble up. So you can literally right now take, 5 minutes and say, the next time, and actually write this down, the next time I get angry, I will take a few deep breaths and call up a good friend. Like, you can make this emotional reaction plan right now, and you're gonna be better prepared when you actually become, in our example, angry or whatever other emotion you're gonna have to deal with. You're gonna be ready for that. Anyhow, breakup stage number 5, wanting your ex back stage. Yes, this is a legit stage. And during it, you will experience this powerful longing to rekindle things with your ex. Yes, throughout the other stages, you will still feel this same longing, but in this stage, it should be the most intense. So you'll also be very nostalgic. You may idolize and romanticize the ex relationship. You may remember only the good times you shared and you downplay the negative times, or you simply overlook them altogether. And this can lead to a lot of needy behaviors, begging your ex for another shot, calling and texting them obsessively, or showing up at their doorstep unannounced. So one very important thing you can do to combat this stage, to move through it quickly, is just realize that getting your ex back is almost always a really futile pursuit. It just doesn't work out for most people. And I know I have a lot of videos on this channel on getting back with an ex, on rekindling an ex relationship, but I am very clear all the time about the simple fact that according to known statistics, known data, including my own survey of like 4,000 plus people, only about like 30% of people get back together with their ex, and only half of those 30% or 32%, they stay together with their ex for more than 1 year. At least they have stayed together for more than 1 year at the time I was making my own survey. So just something to keep in mind. But still, if you want to give it a try, if you want to still, have a stab at getting your ex back, I have a shit ton of videos on this channel, like I said, on the topic. So go check those out. In fact, I have an entire playlist on getting back with an ex on reattraction. Anyhow, that's a tangent. Moving on to breakup stage 6, ambivalence. Now, the ambivalence stage is a pretty tricky one because at this time, during this period, you will feel as though you love and hate your ex at the same time. So you will have conflicting feelings about your relationship, about your breakup. You will be unsure whether you want your ex back or whether you're better off alone, whether you've made a mistake by dumping them or whether you didn't. Your emotions will basically swing back and forth sporadically. And yes, these shifts can be very confusing. Now, when dealing with this stage, just don't try to force yourself to choose one set of feelings over the other. Just observe your emotions, accept them, acknowledge them, and know that they will pass. I mean, every emotion is fleeting, every emotion passes, it loses its hold over you. And in fact, you could also find solace in, the fact that ambivalence is a sign you're nearing the final stage of a breakup. This stage means you are almost through the worst of it. So moving on to the final stage, it's acceptance. So contrary to popular belief, acceptance doesn't mean happiness. It's usually marked by simply little to no negative emotions surrounding your breakup. So you'll begin to feel at peace, you'll accept whatever has happened in the past, you will acknowledge that you cannot change it, and you'll start focusing on the future instead of ruminating and obsessing of what has been or what could have been. So in this stage, you will also forgive both you, yourself, as well as your ex for the mistakes you've made in the relationship. And for those of you who want to reconcile this, by the way, kind of like a pro tip, this is the stage where you'll have the highest chance of actually pulling it off. Because when you reach this stage, you will not be so desperate and so needy as opposed to you being in any of the other breakup stages and trying to shoot your shot with your ex in those ones. Of course, exceptions do happen. Some people are just naturally needy. But if we are talking about a secure person, yeah, this is your moment. So think about it. So that's it for our breakup stages. If you want to dive deeper into breakup recovery and how to go through all of these stages and even more things on what you can expect in each one, you should download my recovery cheat sheet. It's a free download, a free resource that you can go and download. The link is in the description down below this video. Just grab that and that's pretty much it from my side. Thanks for watching and take care.